reached into the pocket of his shirt for his cigarettes. He lit one carefully from a box of matches with "Benihana's of Tokyo" printed on it, and then sat back in his chair and blew out smoke. The sign across the street said it was 9:30. The man didn't appear to be thinking about anything. He looked at the world from behind those mirrored sunglasses with an expression that could have been interest, or pain, or boredom, or anger. He didn't know what it was himself. He waited 4 more minutes. Then he got up from his table and went inside to the cashier. It was bustling in there, with waiters balancing trays of pineapple and alfalfa salads and bacon and eggs, and Sunset Boulevard's floating population all smoking and chattering and laughing. The man laid a $10 bill on the counter, along with a check, turned around, and walked out. Behind the cash register, the girl with the long, tawny blonde hair punched out $6.25, and then looked around for someone to give the change to. She called to the young waiter, "Hey, Myron, table 9 left his change." The waiter said, "Okay, he only just left," and hurried out into the sunlight after him. He glanced to his right and saw that the sidewalk was almost deserted, except for a Mexican woman with hips as wide as a wheelbarrow. So he trotted around the corner into Holloway Drive. He couldn't see the man at first. He squinted up towards the sloping parking lot at the back of the restaurant, but there was nobody there. Then he looked along the street, and about 50 yards away, under the shadow of overhanging trees, he saw the tall man standing by the open trunk of a silver Grand Prix. He called, "Hey, sir!" but the man didn't seem to hear him. Myron began to pad along the concrete sidewalk in his worn-down sneakers until he was only 5 or 6 yards away. It was then that he glimpsed something in the open trunk of the car and stopped short. The tall man turned towards him. "Yes," he whispered. His mirrored eyes gave nothing away. The waiter held out a handful of crumpled bills and sweaty coins. You forgot your change. The check was only $6.25. The tall man didn't move for a moment, didn't answer. But then he slammed the trunk shut and came towards the waiter with a slow, easy stride. "Thanks," he said with cold softness, and took the money out of the boy's hand. The waiter wiped his beaded forehead with the back of his wrist. It certainly didn't seem like he was going to get a tip, and considering what he'd seen in the back of the car, he didn't much care. He said cautiously, "Have a good day, sir," and retreated back up the sidewalk towards the restaurant. On the angled corner of Holloway and Sunset, he paused and looked back. The tall man was still standing by the car, watching him. The sun flashed like a heliographic warning from his sunglasses. "Did you catch up with him?" asked the girl with the long, tawny hair, as Myron came back into the restaurant. The young waiter looked at her and nodded. "Yes," he said, "thanks." She glanced up at him. "What's the matter, Myron? You look like you're sick." He blinked, as if he hadn't heard her. "What? Oh, no, I'm not sick. I just think I had myself a lucky escape." "Escape? What from? Was he a faggot or something?" The boy shook his head. "That guy had more guns in the trunk of his car than a goddamned armory. You should have seen it. The whole trunk was full of guns." "So what are you going to do? Call the police?" He mopped at his face with a paper napkin. "Are you kidding? He's probably a homicidal maniac. Anybody with that many guns is going to use them, and I'd just as soon he didn't use them on me." "So you're going to let him drive around free? What kind of responsible attitude is that?" 2 glittery-eyed black girls in T-shirts came in, and the waiter picked up his order book. "It's a responsible attitude towards my head," he said emphatically. "I want it to stay on my shoulders." The blonde shrugged and helped herself to a mint from the little basket beside the cash register.